Welcome to Taekooklover Are Dating. Hope you're all doing well, Taekooklover fans. Today, I'm bringing you a video filled with joy, tenderness, and surprises, because well, our beloved Taekooklovers are back. And when I say, back, I don't mean they're causing drama, they're back to share the Taekooklover interactions we've been missing. And here, as I always say, it's all about patience. Waiting quietly, because sooner or later, they always return to give us the moments we love. The little moments that often go unnoticed by the general public, but which become the subject of heated whispers among armies. Not because of the over-the-top drama, but because of their honesty that feels so human. One such example is when Taehyung warmly embraces someone, and Jungkook, for some reason, always looks different afterward. Not outright anger. Not even verbal protest. But there's a change in expression, a sharper gaze, a pause that feels odd. It's as if Jungkook is trying to calm something inside him. And that's where many people begin to wonder, is it jealousy? Taehyung is known for being a loving figure. His hugs are genuine, his shoulders are comforting, and his presence often provides a shoulder to lean on, both for the BTS members and those around him. But that's precisely why, moments when Taehyung hugs someone often elicit a subtle reaction from Jungkook. He doesn't pull away, but he doesn't completely relax either. His body seems to move closer, his eyes follow, and his aura changes. Jungkook isn't the type to express his feelings easily. He holds them back, stores them away, and expresses them through small actions. When Taehyung hugs someone, Jungkook often seems to be looking for an opening, whether it's standing closer, touching Taehyung's arm afterward, or simply staring longer than usual. Not to take over, but as if to reassure them, I'm still here. And perhaps that's where the truth lies, not hatred, but need. Jungkook needs Taehyung in a way that can't always be explained. Taehyung is the calm when the world feels noisy, the laughter when fatigue piles up, the place to come home to after a glittering stage. When such an important figure shares his warmth with another, it's natural for Jungkook's heart to flutter. Interestingly, Taehyung seems to be aware of this. There are moments when, after hugging someone, he immediately turns to Jungkook. A small smile appears, a brief touch occurs, or the distance shortens. It's as if Taehyung is silently saying, I know you're there. And Jungkook slowly regains his composure. Their relationship has never been defined with a label. There's no official statement, no public claim. There's simply a series of moments, a glance, a gesture, a presence, that repeat themselves and form a pattern. A pattern that leads many to believe that what happens between Jungkook and Taehyung is more than just a coincidence. Jealousy, if that's what Jungkook feels, isn't destructive. It's a sign of attachment. It's proof that Taehyung isn't just a bandmate, but someone who means a lot to him. And Jungkook's need for Taehyung isn't weakness, it's an acknowledgement that even the golden magne needs a shoulder to cry on. Ultimately, perhaps what we're witnessing isn't explosive jealousy, but a carefully guarded feeling. A feeling that lives in the gaps, discreet, yet real. And as long as Jungkook continues to find peace around Taehyung, and Taehyung keeps turning back to him, this story will continue to leave people wondering, and smiling with curiosity. And that's precisely where the strength of their relationship deepens. Not in the grand, deliberately staged moments, but in the spontaneous reactions that can't be hidden. Jungkook may be able to control his facial expressions on stage, but his feelings always leak out whenever Taehyung is involved. Especially when Taehyung shows affection for another person, something that might seem natural to Taehyung, but to Jungkook has a different meaning. There are times when Jungkook seems quieter after that. His laughter is a little muffled, his gestures stiffer, and his focus seems distracted. He remains professional, still smiling, but the aura around him changes. It's as if he's battling feelings he doesn't want to admit to anyone. And interestingly, Taehyung is almost always the first to notice these changes. Taehyung never confronts him with drama. There's no confrontation, no direct questions. He approaches in his own way, with a light joke, a brief touch on the shoulder, or simply standing closer than before. Small things that might not be clearly captured by the camera, but enough to make Jungkook smile again. It was as if Taehyung was comforting something fragile, something only he knew how to care for. At this point, many began to understand that Jungkook didn't hate Taehyung hugging others out of mere possessiveness. What he felt was deeper than that. There was a subtle fear of losing his special role, fear of being displaced, or perhaps fear that the warmth he had always considered theirs could actually be shared. And feelings like that only arise when someone is truly important. Jungkook needed Taehyung not out of unhealthy dependency, but because he was his balance. Amidst a busy schedule, public pressure, and ever-increasing expectations, Taehyung was a safe space. With him, Jungkook didn't always have to be strong. He could be himself, softer, more honest, even more jealous. And Taehyung, with his characteristic empathy, never took advantage of that. He didn't make Jungkook feel small or overly so. Instead, he maintained boundaries that only they understood. That's why, after each moment of jealousy, their relationship seemed to grow closer. Not farther apart, not more distant, but more locked in a silent understanding. Perhaps this is why many people felt what was happening between them felt real. Because emotions like jealousy, need, and security can't be faked for long. They show up in body language, in the way someone seeks another person out in a crowd, in how calmness only returns when the distance is narrowed. And as long as Jungkook continues to react this way, as long as Taehyung remains the only one who can reassure him without words, this story will live on. Not as a claim, not as a mere rumor, but as a slice of human emotion too honest to ignore. But what makes this story even more profound is its consistency. It's not one or two incidents that could be called coincidence, but rather a pattern that repeats itself over time. Every time Taehyung becomes the center of warmth, laughing freely with others, hugging affectionately, or showing his soft side in public, Jungkook's reaction is always there, albeit in different forms. Sometimes it's just a brief glance, sometimes a barely perceptible change in attitude, but it's clear enough to those who pay close attention. Jungkook never tries to stop Taehyung. He knows exactly who Taehyung is, someone who loves sincerely and gives without calculation. That's precisely where his inner conflict arises. He respects Taehyung's freedom, but at the same time, his heart reacts faster than his mind. And that reaction isn't something he can completely hide. There are moments where Jungkook seems to seek validation indirectly. He becomes more clingy, closer, or touches Taehyung more often afterward. It was as if he was reaffirming the bond between them. Not with the words, "I'm jealous," but with body language that said, "I still want to be here." And Taehyung almost always responded, without rejection, without distance.